Guys, I did something that I'm not quite proud of. Okay, so I kind of broke the 240. When I was driving, I was heading to Canadian Tire. I was going to pick up some parts or whatever, some supplies. I forget what I was actually doing. But on my way there, I was at a stoplight. I was at a red. As soon as the light turned green, I lit up first gear, I lit up second gear, and then third was starting to slip. After I let off, I noticed that the steering wheel kind of wanted to turn a little bit while I was keep tracking forward. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe the alignment's off. Maybe something happened. Maybe it's a tire that happened. Maybe I roasted a tire and messed up one of the cords, because I did that before. It's not exactly that. Something actually broke when I got under the car and took note of what happened. So I want to show you guys quickly before what the issue is before I get the car up in the air. So the problem is with this rear wheel. So the left driver's side has too much toe in. So you can see the wheel is not actually facing straight, it's tilted in a little bit. And because of that, the steering wheel doesn't quite drive properly. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but it's got toe in. And I'm going to show you guys once I jack the car up in the air why it's doing that. With the wheel off, we can jump down into the fender and I can show you guys the problem. So before you guys comment, yes, I do need to undercoat the car and take care of everything. Now, I've already gone ahead and cleaned up the fender wells, but I want to do something a little bit more with the subframe, the control arms, and everything. But what I'm getting at, can you tell me what's wrong with this situation right here? So we have this right here. This is the knuckle. We have a rear arm for suspension. And can you tell me what that's connected to? I'll give you a hint. It's not. So what happened is that part over there where it got a little rusty and it got a little soft broke off. Now I have all new arms coming in. I want to take care and address all of these bolts, nuts, control arms, all this stuff. And while I'm at it, I think I'm going to get a set of coilovers to replace these. So literally everything down here is all new. But as for the control arms, they're all going to be replaced. As for all the bushings, I bought an aftermarket set of polyurethane ones. So every single bushing that you see in here, so say the one right there that my camera doesn't want to focus on, so that one inside that, the lower control in there is going to be replaced with a polyurethane one, along with there, along with up in there, and I also have motor mounts for the car. So everything that you see here is going to be replaced, but in the meantime, I don't really have a way of getting around because this thing is not exactly drivable. So I need to address this. I bought 2 new replacement ones. I wasn't sure quite which one was going to get here first, so I was like, okay, screw it. For the little money that it cost, I bought 2. I went ahead and removed the control arms found on the driver's side rear of the car. And this right here is the control arm that got busted off. So where it attaches to the chassis, to the subframe, and where it connects to the spindle, it like basically broke off and it's completely separated in its 2 pieces. So I was like, okay, how do I resolve this? I thought about temporarily welding this in to get me by, but I was like, okay, it's probably not gonna be worth it. So I went on eBay and I found a set of arms. So all new control arms, well, new. These are all OEM Nissan pieces. I picked all of these things up. They were used, so they weren't like the greatest condition. They weren't quite as bad as this, but they were still not the greatest. So what I did was I sandblasted them, cleaned them up, and then used some chassis saver on them to make them look basically brand new. So I've got all 3 new arms for the driver's side that I'm gonna put in, and it's gonna replace these like nasty, rusty looking ones. However, if you guys have an arm that's like this or like this, and you guys wanna make it look like this, I'm going to show you how to do that. So obviously for the broken control arm, we're not going to be redoing that, but I'm going to grab one of those functioning ones found on the left, and I'm going to show you how to clean that up and make it look nice. The process that we're going to be doing is we're going to be going from a bad control arm, like the one on the left, or the second one from the left. We're going to be getting rid of all the imperfections, just like the third control arm, and then we're going to be painting it up and making it look perfect, and keeping it from rusting like our last control arm. So this left control arm is rusty that we took off of the 240. This next control arm is one of the control arms that I picked up from eBay. This is a used part, and from the looks of it, the previous owner of this arm painted it up. He didn't do a horrible job, but I still want to take it back to bare metal and repaint it and refinish it. So the refinishing part is going to start with this, and this is completely sandblasted using glass media, very fine crushed glass. You're going to use that and basically get rid of all the imperfections, all the rust, all the paint that's on the panel or the control arm. You're going to bring it right down to steel. Once you have that done, we're going to protect it and cover it up using some chassis saver. This right here is my sandblasting cabinet that I picked up from Harbor Freight for $100. Now, it works actually decently well considering it's a very entry-level sandblasting cabinet. And the way that it works is you stick your 2 hands in the front. On the side, you're gonna have a port for a vacuum. On the back side of it, there's gonna be another port right over there, if you guys can see that. That is the intake port, so you need to leave that open. You need to be hooking this side here up to a vacuum. That removes any of the dust that's created inside the cabinet. Over here we have the 2 spots for your arms. Moving to the side, this is where we can open this up and put whatever part that we're sandblasting inside of here. So I'm gonna be putting my control arm inside of here. Just slide it in. I have my sandblaster right here. I have my media on the bottom, and right now I'm using glass media because this is probably one of the most abrasive medias you can use to take back any kind of finish or whatever from steel. Now, I would not use this if you were doing aluminum or any kind of soft metal because this is too abrasive and you will damage your part. Once you have that in there, you can close this up. Put a little light up top here, turn your vacuum on, and then get sandblasting. After spending about 5 minutes with the control arm and the sandblaster, it looks something like this. And it's actually pretty sweet. Now I want to really get the camera to focus in on this because this is the difference of spending about 5 minutes with a sandblaster, and this is about spending 5 minutes using just a regular wire wheel or brush. It's not going to do anywhere near as good of a job as this, only because you're getting so much more stuff basically thrown at the part as opposed to this. The brush will only get you so much done, and as you can tell, the difference speaks for itself. You can see there's still many imperfections found on the control arm on the left versus the one on the right. So this right now is basically like a stone-washed kind of look. So the paint is actually going to stick very well to something like this. So once you have it at this step, we're going to grab some chassis saver or some paint, whatever you want to use to basically protect the metal from rusting. Do that to the control arm so it doesn't ever want to look like that again. So I want to show you a quick difference. I spent about 30 seconds cleaning up this side over here with the sandblaster and this over here with a wire brush or a wire wheel on an impact gun. And you can see that it did take off a decent amount of rust, but it doesn't clean up anywhere near as well as the sandblaster. Considering the sandblasting unit, including all the media, cost me less than 150 bucks, I cannot complain at all about how well this is getting cleaned up. The control arms now at this point are ready to be painted. So you can use any kind of paint that you like. I'm going to be using some Chassis Saver, which is a very good, very strong, and very durable kind of paint that you're going to be basically applying by brush. Or if you choose to, if you have the equipment, you can use a thinner and you can spray it on. So I'm just going to crack this open. Now I've used this quart before, and I used this to do the 3 other control arms for the other side of the car. And I'm going to show you the paintbrush. So this is the paintbrush that I used just yesterday. Like, it hasn't even been 24 hours, and this is how strong and durable it is. Like, there's no bending this stuff. You can see that it's like cracking kind of, but that's the extent of it. So I've got a new brush right here, ready to go. I agitated this beforehand. I'm ready to just dip this in a little bit and then start applying some of this paint on our panels. So you don't need too much of this. You want to do about at least 2 coats to get this going. So the first coat is going to be rather light. The second coat is going to be a little bit thicker, and that's where we're going to be building up the layers and the protection that we need against the elements. So the first coat is going to basically just cover up everything, and the second coat we're going to come in afterwards. And if we've missed any areas, the second coat is definitely going to get all that covered. So I've got this suspended from my brake caliper holders, and they're being suspended by a broom. I'm just doing this so I can paint up basically a full 360 degrees of the panel in one shot. I don't have to wait, let it dry, spin it around, and then go from there. So you're just gonna basically paint up the entire thing on both sides and repeat the exact same procedure for all 3 control arms. You can choose to either use a black, a silver, or any other color that they use. I'm choosing to do all the suspension components in silver, and the body I'm keeping black. With the first coat of paint now applied to each one of the control arms, I'm going to let this sit here for about half an hour, come back, and then put down a second coat. And then after that, I'm going to leave this overnight so that once I come back tomorrow, all the paint is fully cured, it's ready to go, and we can install all the stuff back on the car.
The reason why it takes a little bit longer to dry is because of the hardness of the paint. Since it's a very durable, very strong paint, it needs a little bit more time than a traditional aerosol for it to actually cure and become super hard. 24 hours later, with the paint now dry, we can go ahead and reinstall all these components back on the car. So these upper arms that I have right here are painted up silver. The lower control arm, along with the spindle and the wheel bearing, I painted up black. Also, I got rid of all the rust. So all of these components should stay looking like this, given the fact that I am not going to be driving the car in the winter. So because they look like this, and because they're all painted up, they're going to be staying looking this nice and pretty. Back in the wheel well, there's still a couple rusty parts that I want to take care of, but as it stands for now, they're going to be basically staying like this. So the subframe, I do want to clean up, get rid of all the rust. The rear sway bar, that's going to be swapped out with a bigger one, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. Same thing with the end links. All of the bolts that I had installed that, well, were basically on there beforehand, I'm replacing, and I bought all new ones. So all of this rust is essentially going to all be gone. Now I'm going to be taking all this stuff apart again sometime down the road because I want to buy a different set of control arm bushings, subframe bushings, and every other kind of bushing to polyurethane ones, because these rubber ones are 19 years old, and from the looks of it, they're pretty deteriorated, and they need replacing. So I'm just going to put it back together for now, but in the future, I am going to be putting all that stuff in down the road. With the control arms painted up, with the new hardware, both in the upper and lower control arms, everything inside the wheel well looks good except for the one eyesore, and that's the subframe. Now, you guys know for a fact I am going to take care of it. I am going to clean it up and get rid of all that rust because it is bothering me. But as it stands, the car is working, the car is functional. We have this arm we put in. We repainted up the spindle, the wheel bearing, the braking assembly is all taken care of, the other control arms, and all new bolts. If you guys want to find links to any of the products that I used today regarding the paint, the bolts, or any of the suspension components, you guys can check the description box and I'll have links for you there directing you to Amazon. I was not expecting to spend this much time working on the 240 because I still have that thing to get going. So I still have the misfire in cylinder 4, and I'm going to show you guys in the next video that's going to be coming out on my channel how to resolve that problem. So the N14 motors are notorious for carbon buildup found in the cylinder head, and I'm going to show you guys how to clean that out. If you guys want to see that video and you want to stay tuned, wait for my next video to come out. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you guys want to stay up to date with the 240, the Mini, and everything else that's going down here. That's where the video is going to end for today. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, throw them down in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to help. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.